Hello, welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity: The Power of a Proper Human Diet, and I'm here with several of my UK friends, and we're gonna talk carnivore. We're gonna share some stories, answer your questions, and we have a big announcement. There's a Great British Meetup coming up August 2nd, and I have a link for that in the description below, along with a link for Carl, George, Alex, Sarah, and Lauren, who couldn't make it today, but she's going to be at the Great British Meetup also. So all of those links are in the description below. But we're here to answer your questions. Hopefully, we get some of our UK friends on here as well and chat a little bit about the meetup coming up and anything else anyone is interested in. So, how's everyone doing here today? Carl, George, Alex, Sarah, how you guys doing?
Very good.
Very well, very well. Thanks, Gary.
Nice to see you all.
Absolutely brilliant.
Whose idea was it to do this, the Great British Meetup?
That might have been me, I think.
Yeah, I'd say it was George. After you did your London event, Kerry, that Sarah and I and Alex were at, obviously George thought it would be a good idea for us to do it. So George is, why call him the puppet master? He pulls all the strings.
I had the brainchild back in the autumn, actually, and I spoke to Carl about it first, and it seemed like a really good idea at the time. But mind you, it still does seem like a good idea, but it's getting a bit frightening now. It's getting close.
Yeah. It seems like this is just an event to get together, but they could turn into a big project. A lot of logistics, a lot of planning, people coming from all over, making sure you get everything right. But I'll tell you what, I think we've probably done like 15 of them at this point. I should probably sit down and count, but it always comes together. The carnivore crowd is amazing. The UK crowd is incredible. We had a lot of fun out there in the UK, but it's I always tell people it's not like you're a stand-up comedian going in front of an audience or a crowd like that. The carnivore crowd, they're just the greatest people. I'm hooked on these meetups. It's so much fun just being surrounded by like-minded individuals, because oftentimes as carnivores, we're kind of the odd ones out. I know we had a great time in the UK as well. So your event is August 2nd. I guess just full disclosure, I really, really wish I could make it, but unfortunately I can't make it. But I'm happy to shout it out. And I am really hoping I can get back to the UK. But what are you guys thinking for the event? What sort of things are going to be happening at the event?
Well, we've already got Richard Smith and Coach Stephen already on our guest list. There's a couple of others that I've approached. I'm waiting to hear back from. I'd love to get Zoe Harkham, who's just around the corner, really, to come on as well. But I think we're going to be working on Lee, the Kent Carnivore, as well. So some of the good UK ones. And obviously, I'm hoping Alex will be there with us as well. There you go.
95%. Sorry, Carl. I promised everyone that I was going to ignore everybody and just get straight down to Glastonbury. I can't see me not coming. So let's say 99%. Can't wait.
Awesome. So we're going to have obviously some talks. We've got quite a few. George has organised the food side of it. I think so. We've got hog roasts and we've got beef joints and we've got lambs and all sorts going to be cooked. So no one's going to go hungry.
Oh, that sounds amazing. You guys are having food too. What's the location?
George?
I better say that one. It's very near the town of Glastonbury, which is famous for its festival every summer, and it's famous for its Glastonbury tour, which is a feature on the landscape. It's 4 miles south of there, on a farm called Sourdown Farm in the village of Butley. It's in the county of Somerset, which is in the southwest of England, not far from Stonehenge and other famous places like that. It's not difficult to get from London. There's a couple of routes. You can either come down the A303 or on the M4 and drop down the A37. So from London, it's really quite convenient. It's well serviced by motorways. So yeah, even though it's kind of the deep south of England, it is very accessible. So hopefully people will be able to come from all over the country.
That's great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really, this isn't flattery, but I really loved spending time in the UK. Just before going there, we traveled to Australia to film for the documentary, and that was great, but it was too much traveling for me. But I know there's a lot of history, obviously, in the UK, but just going around and seeing the architecture and the buildings and the people there were all it was just awesome. I'm really looking forward to getting back there sometime. Hopefully, bringing some more of the family with. We had some really good food out there as well, but uh, excited for this. So, for those that are just jumping on right now, if you have a question for myself or Carl, George, Alex, or Sarah here, please post it with the QQQ in the sidebar, and we'll take any questions that you guys have. And I was thinking maybe we do a little roundtable and just kind of briefly share each of our carnivore stories, because I love hearing these stories. They never get old, and it seems like the audience likes to hear these as well. So maybe if we go around, maybe just in order here. I don't know, Carl, if you're willing to share first.
Yeah, sure. So I was at a point where they wanted me to go onto statins to start taking insulin. I was pre-diabetic. I was having a number of other health issues. I was determined not to go on statins. I saw what happened to my father when he was put on them and how his health went downhill. So I went on YouTube, and like a lot of people say, I saw the Joe Rogan interview with Jordan Peterson. I turned around to the wife then and said, do you know what, I'm going to give that a go. And she did her usual, rolled her eyes thinking, oh God, not another fad. And I'm now entering my 100th week on carnivore this week.
Wow.
I've lost 7 stone. Blood pressure's gone to normal. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I'm more fit now than I've probably been in many, many years. The one thing I have noticed, two funny things, or one funny thing that happened to me was, one, I'm awake by 4:30 in the morning pretty much every day. I sleep brilliantly, but I'm wide awake and ready to go about 4:30 in the morning. And the other thing is my feet shrunk 2 shoe sizes, which I didn't expect.
Wow. And just for people that don't know, so 7 stone, that's almost 100 pounds here in the U.S. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Carl,
I was just about 35 kilos. So,
wow. Carl, what does your wife think now?
she's very happy. Apart from about being the time of day it is. When I do wake up at 4 o'clock, I'm normally like a soldier standing at attention. So I'll leave it there.
Love it. Love it. That's awesome. Carl, I had the same thing too. I remember when I started, you made me laugh when you said that, because it was like, oh man, here he goes again. He did the keto, he did the counting calories, he did sure, this is going to be the one. And here now I am, like almost 800 days later. So that's really cool. 7 stone is 98 pounds, says Pa Beater here in the chat. Good stuff. Yeah. Oh, we got a lot of people in the chat now. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Any questions you have, please post them. I see a few. We'll get to those in a minute. All right. George, maybe if you're willing to share your story next.
Absolutely. So my story started on March 1st, 2022. It wasn't a instant carnivore thing. I was diagnosed with morbid obesity, high triglycerides, and type 2 diabetes. The doctor gave me prescriptions for metformin and statins and sent me out of her office. I was very lucky. Nurse Kathy grabbed me, took into her office, asked me what I ate. So I told her that I ate all the healthy stuff, the grains, the pasta, the potatoes, the good stuff, basically, that we're all supposed to eat. And she said 4 words to me: George, all carbs are sugar. And I went away and did the research, spent thousands of hours doing the research, and basically then I had no idea about carnivore, stumbled my way through low carb and keto, and then eventually discovered carnivore via Dr. Ken Berry, of course, and Kelly Hogan, woman that eats only meat for 13 years. I was deeply impressed, and I decided to look into carnivore. It took me another year of gradually eliminating everything, but by August 2023 I was carnivore, and I've been carnivore ever since. The result being that I have lost, I was 293 pounds. This morning I weighed in 173 pounds. My HbA1c has gone from into the type 2 diabetic range to a very low blood sugar of 32 here in the UK, and I can't remember what that is. I think it's 5.1 in American terms, down from 6.7. And so triglycerides have been smashed from dangerously high to low. and my waist size has gone from 44 inches to 32 inches. So I've had all the classic results that you hear from going carnivore, and I'm carnivore for life now. It's as simple as that. Sorry, Alex, borrowing your saying there, but yeah, I'm now like yourself, Kerry, not going back ever.
Wow, man, some good stories. That's incredible. Good job. All right. Before we go to Alex, I was just gonna say real quick. Normally I do this. I should have mentioned this earlier. Oh, I guess. Um, the next, if you guys will post your best questions with the hashtag ribeye, we're gonna randomly give away a Healing Humanity shirt. So we're gonna answer some of your questions and we'll do a drawing. We got this little tool. We'll do a drawing. We'll give away a shirt. So post hashtag ribeye with your best question if you could. Thank you, George, for sharing. Alex, could you share your story, please?
Well, I was going to say ladies first, but I'll go next if that's
I was just
okay.
gonna say, I'm sorry, I should have had Sarah go first. I was just kind of going in order. Maybe let's have Sarah go next, and we'll save Alex for last.
Yeah,
Peace of gentlemen.
Oh,
I'm a gentleman.
oh, you're great, Alex. I follow in the footsteps of a very, very sickly mother who was always sick, always something wrong with mum. And then back in 2014, which is now 10.5 years ago, I discovered the carnivore lifestyle. Now, before people get excited, I haven't done it strict all that time. It's been more on off. And then 300 days ago, I decided to commit to doing it forever and never going back. And I've stuck to my word. So I am coming up to my 1-year carniversary of not messing about. But the reason I do it is because I had to help my mum through so much illness. By the time she was my age, she'd lost her entire reproductive system, her thyroid. She was on medication for this, medication for that. It was always something wrong with mum, and I always had to look after her. And she passed away a couple of years ago from more problems, more drugs, more surgery, multiple cancers, that kind of thing. And my main why for discovering carnivore and keeping going back to it and now committing is that I just don't want to turn out like her. The thought of being in constant fear of your health just terrifies me, and the doctors can't find anything wrong with me. And even doing it part-time carnivore and now 300 days committed, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm 49 with nothing wrong. The doctors, you know, aren't even trying to get me on any kind of medication because there's nothing wrong. I've reversed so many things, pre-diabetes and insomnia, and I've lost 15 skin tags that just fell off my neck. I'm just feel fantastic, and when I eat just meat, I just feel fantastic. And like you guys, I am now never going back after seeing what it's like to do it for 300 days. I am never ever going to go back to a mixed diet. The only thing I should add though is because of my age and because I've messed about in the past, I am one of the slow weight losers. I've only really gone down like 1.5 dress sizes in those 300 days. But like you've said before, Kerry, in the past, you'd still do it even if you didn't get the weight loss. And for me, my main why and my reason for doing this is because I want to stay off medication. I want to stay well. I want to try and preserve my health for as many decades as possible, and I won't be going back. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I keep still logging on and seeing you guys. But that's my story in a nutshell.
Oh, great story. I'm glad you're sticking to it strong. I think I remember when we met out in the UK. I can't remember how long ago that was, but I remember you saying like
December,
you're
yeah.
sticking to it. You're sticking to it now for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I think,
I've not been out of ketosis in 300 days, so I'm never ever going back now. Never.
nice. I think that's a great
Yeah.
thing for people to hear because I know there's a lot of people always get mad at me because oh, Mr. Perfect, he's so strict on carnivore, but I just can't. I can if I have a little bit of a cheat, I completely
Yeah.
fall off the rails. But
Same.
I feel like a lot of
Same.
people kind of had your initial approach, Sarah, where I'll do mostly carnivore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like for those people, it makes it so much harder because you still have those cravings. It feels like the cravings
Yeah.
go away if you do carnivore fully versus
Yeah.
trying to do it a little bit. So I think it's a good lesson for a lot of people out
Yeah.
there.
But also the other thing is I found it before it was cool. I found it before even Sean Baker was doing it. So, but
Yeah.
not properly. But now I am. But it's quite hard to find out about it back then because we didn't have the YouTube channels and the Ken Berries and the Jordan Petersons talking about it. I just happened to stumble across it via Amber O'Hearn back in the day.
Wow.
And her husband introduced me to it just it was just pure chance that I found it, and I managed to end up in a zeroing in on health group with Kelly Hogan and the others, and I knew instantly that was how I was going to end up eating. I just didn't know when. And then 300 days ago, I hit my kind of done, and then I'm not going back ever now.
That is, there's good and bads to YouTube, but that's one really good. Like, I don't know, many of us would have never found carnivore if not for YouTube. I just had I had this woman on my channel. She wrote this book. Her name's Kim. It's called Return to Simple, and she coaches the Amish, and she helps a lot of Amish with carnivore. There's lots of Amish here in the U.S., and I was talking to her. I'm like, that's actually really incredible what you're doing, because none of them are going on YouTube. So none of them would have ever heard about carnivore if not for her going out. In fact, that was the whole reason she wrote this book, because she's like, they're not going to go on YouTube, but they'll read a book. So she's actually getting this in a lot of little Amish grocery stores and stores around here in the U.S. and helping quite a few people. So that is awesome. Carnivore for life. Thank you, Sarah. All right, Alex.
Yeah, hi. I'm Alex. I tell everybody, as these guys know, that I'm 66. I'm 67 in August. And the reason I say it is I never expected to be where I am today. I've dropped 47 pounds in weight. When I was 60 in 2018, I was depressed, carrying a lot of weight, a lot of mental baggage, a lot of physical baggage. I had diverticulitis, IBS, psoriasis, halitosis, the list is endless. And at the time, I just didn't know that it was because, and this is not because it was plant-based, but it was because I had a very strong plant-based diet with very lean protein. I bowed to the authorities in the UK and I did what we're all supposed to do. You know, I ate my 5 a day. And for many, many years, I just didn't know why I couldn't lose weight. I was morbidly obese, quite depressed. Lockdowns in the UK made it 10 times worse. And I was looking into the 60s, going down the hill, getting fat, big fat blurt, as my wife would say. A total knee replacement, osteoarthritis. No wonder I was depressed, but I didn't know it. But for me, very similar to George, mine was the 1st of May 2022. I think George was in March, wasn't it? I just sat down one night watching food channels as usual. And I thank YouTube, Fat Fiction, the documentary, and Dr. Sean Baker. So if people don't know who Dr. Sean Baker is, he wrote the Carnivore Diet book. I was skeptical. Fat Fiction didn't mention carnivore, but it mentioned the keto diet, which I'd never heard of either. But because I was a cook in the house, thought I was a super cook, you know, it was all 20, 30, 40 ingredients per meal, but never, ever, never low carb, high fat. It was the opposite. I was getting nowhere fast, but I luckily for me took charge of my life on the 1st of May 2022. Went on the carnivore diet, realized it about a couple of weeks later. And the guy you see today, guys, if you watch my channel as well, I've documented it many times. This is the best I've felt since I was in my 30s. In my 30s, my daughter Sophie was born. I was 31. She's having her baby in July this year, so I'm going to be a granddad. So we're going full circle. And you know, I feel really blessed, guys. I'm a spiritual person, and I feel as if the carnivore diet has given me my life back. It probably sounds a bit smushy, but this is the happiest I've been in decades. And being around people like you guys as well, it's just sort of brought me to another level. So that's my story.
Good stuff.
Kerry, I forgot one part of my story, which is quite important, and that's that my wife is Lainey. And we are a cancer-stricken household. She has had breast cancer and has had a mastectomy and has gone through all the chemo and the radiation. And she is on long-term chemo now. But she has thankfully she discovered the Otto Warburg effect and has listened to DC, Learning to Live over in Australia, and also Thomas Seyfried. She understands that glucose feeds cancer. Therefore, she is very strong ketovore. She absolutely loves her premium meat. She will continue to eat some of the low carb veg such as cauliflower, and the occasional tomato and that sort of thing. But she is heavily meat based, and it seems to be she's got energy, and the cancer is in remission still. So yeah, it's quite an important thing to mention that we are basically a carnivore household now with the cancer in the background as well. So yeah, it's been it's a difficult journey, but we are we're getting through it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, George, and I wish your wife the best. It sounds like she's doing all the right things. We're doing this documentary, and a big part of it is going to be cancer. We were never even going to include cancer in it until I started learning more about it. It's interesting you just mentioned that. I've been blessed to interview all these doctors, and one question I always ask them is, what sort of advice would you give to a loved one if they were diagnosed with cancer? And I've been compiling that. We just finished it, and I think it's like I still have to edit it down, but it's about 45 minutes of different, not just doctors, but also individuals that have gone through cancer themselves, or doctors giving advice on what sort of advice would you give someone if they're diagnosed with cancer. Of course, a lot of them it's focus on your diet because of Otto Warburg, like you just mentioned. The other big part of it is the mindset as well, which is a little bit of a tougher area. But we filmed Tammy Peterson for our documentary, and she was diagnosed with cancer, and she's been in remission for 6 years and eating a carnivore diet for 6 years. And she attributes it to carnivore diet, but also in large part due to prayer and her mindset. This is the interesting thing with cancer. When you stress, it releases cortisol, and cortisol converts to glucose. So I don't know how anyone could have cancer and not be stressed, but by being stressed, it can perpetuate it because you're releasing that cortisol, which converts to glucose. So if you're able to get over that and have a good positive mindset, I don't know how people do it, but Tammy Peterson she was able to do it pretty well. But yeah, it's a big part of our documentary for sure. So, all right, we got some good questions coming in here too. You guys have probably all heard my story. I'll just share it real briefly because I do see some new faces in here in the chat I haven't seen before. I've been carnivore now for almost 800 days. I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest. I overcame depression, anxiety. I was on 15 different medications. I had gout in my foot and arthritis and all sorts of things. And like some of the others here have mentioned, I saw a couple people. I saw Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan as well. I saw Dante Ferrigno talking about carnivore. That's what led me down this path. And then I did more research and I learned about Dr. Berry. And then I think is when I saw Dr. Jordan Peterson. And when I saw Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan, and he said, I've been off all my antidepressant medication, and I have been for a year on a carnivore diet. That blew my mind. He also said he stopped snoring the first week on carnivore, which was crazy to me because I snored for years and I had a CPAP machine. So that was what a couple of the things that ultimately convinced me to do carnivore. I'm no longer depressed. I'm no longer anxious. I'm down 100 pounds. I don't have gout. My IBS is gone. Like literally, I couldn't feel any better than I have. And I decided to do a documentary called Healing Humanity. And we've been traveling all over the world for almost 2 years now, filming people like Alex on the screen. Alex, we filmed him for our story. We filmed Lauren out in the UK as well. And we're on the home stretch now. We've done 52 interviews. We have about 3 more to go, and we'll be done. And we're hoping to finish the main documentary and have that out to the world next year. It's taking a while because there's a couple people, not Alex, but a couple people that we followed over the course of an entire year, including Bill Nod in Alaska. We filmed him on day 1, and we filmed him on year 1, day 1. And I'm actually going back there this summer, not for the documentary, just for fun, to film him on. He's going to be coming up on year 2 by the time we go up there again for the second time. So yeah, that's my story. Carnivores completely changed my life forever, and I've seen it heal so many people. And the reason I'm doing the documentary is because there's a lot of people out there in the world that are hopeless with depression, anxiety, or cancer, or fertility issues, or autoimmune disorders. And it's not because they're choosing to be horribly depressed or choosing to have cancer, or choosing to have fertility issues. Just a lot of them aren't aware that the root cause of that, in most cases, is nutrition. I never would have thought in a million years my depression would have been cured by just changing the foods I was eating. I thought it was just something wrong in my brain. So that's the reason I'm so passionate about it. I'm not telling everybody, hey, you got to be like me, eat like me, but I just want people to at least have the option and understand that, hey, if you're horribly depressed, it's probably your nutrition, and a lot of people don't. So we're just trying to get the word out to the world by sharing other people's examples. So, all right, should we take some questions? And before we take questions, I just want to say one more time, because there's a bunch of people that have jumped on since. There's a big the Great British Meetup that's happening Saturday, August 2nd. Carl, George, Alex, Sarah, Lauren, going to have a couple of speakers there as well. It's so cool. You're having Richard Smith and Coach Steven. They came to the UK Meetup. Those two, no joke, those guys are probably the best in the world when it comes to like carnivore Q&A, asking and answering questions. Those two are I think they're the best. Dr. Barry's pretty good too, but man, those guys are amazing. I've done a couple live streams with them. So they're going to be at the Great British Meetup August 2nd. There's a link in the description below. You can't just show up. You got to get the tickets in the description below. There's going to be a bunch of good food there as well. And there's also links for Carl, George, Sarah, and Alex, so you can follow them all on social media, on YouTube, and stay up to date on everything they're doing there as well. So what do you guys think? Should we take a couple questions?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here. Question from OG. Again, if you have any questions, you can still post them. Hashtag ribeye like OG did here, and I'm going to do a random drawing and give away a Healing Humanity shirt. What is the best cheese to eat on a carnivore diet? You guys have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. None. Don't have cheese. Unless I lost the 47 pounds quite quickly over the first year. But when I went back to cheese and a bit of dairy, I started putting heavy cream in my coffee. So I was trying to cut down the coffee anyway, and the heavy cream did help that, but it started to creep up slightly. And I listened to quite a lot of doctors, particularly Anthony Chafee. I think I spoke to you as well, Kerry, that dropping it back on the cheese made a massive difference. I've been on a Lion diet for 2 Novembers, and that was the most significant weight loss. And although weight loss is not the most important thing, it obviously made me feel better. And that's my recommendation. But if you are going to eat cheese, my personal recommendation would be a Stilton or something that's really quite strong. So you're like a blue Stilton, so you're not eating loads of it. Melt it on your ribeye and very nice, but it all depends on what your targets are. So if it is weight loss, or you find your weight's not going any lower because even though you're on carnivore, I would eliminate it for maybe a month and then see how you go.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I'm not a cheese eater. I know many carnivores do. My wife's carnivore; she eats cheese. I did keto for years, and cheese. I couldn't eat a little bit of cheese. I've got a highly addictive behavior. I would always eat too much and stall out, and so I just decided not to do it on carnivore. Anyone else doing any cheese or any cheese suggestions?
Yeah, I'll just chuck in the fact that where we're having the meet up here in Somerset, we are just a few miles away from the town of Cheddar, which is actually where the original cheddar cheese comes from, because there is a cave system there which stays at a constant 11 degrees, and that is a perfect place for storing cheese. Cheddar is a strong cheese. It's a fairly clean cheese. It's something I eat very occasionally as a kind of carnival junk food, if you like. Not something I would eat on a regular basis, but yeah, I'm going to chuck in cheddar alongside Alex's Stilton as a good, clean, strong flavored cheese.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question. Is beef tongue considered organ or muscle meat?
Oh.
I would say muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tongue is a muscle rather than an organ, isn't it? I would say.
Anyone here have beef tongue? I think our friend Lee Copus has a couple of times. I haven't tried it yet.
No.
I have eaten beef tongue in the past, but not in recent years. My mother used to swear by it at one time.
All right, Patty McKay. Question. I've been doing carnivore for 6 months. I've lost 45 pounds, but I find it so hard to do when the rest of my family isn't on it. Question. How do you do it? My family won't support me. Well, I'm very fortunate, Patty. My family's doing it with me now, but they weren't initially, and I still was able to do it. Yeah, I was still able to I was still able to do it when I first started. It's a lot easier when the whole family's doing it, but
Mm.
I don't know. I find most families they still have if you eat a regular meal of meat and potatoes and a little side dish, the family can eat
Yeah.
that, and you can just take more of the meat. To get your community and support, I would suggest getting it elsewhere. Like for me, when I first started carnivore, I was on YouTube all the time, getting my community and being with like-minded individuals on YouTube or joining one of these groups. I was in Dr. Barry's group for a while. Um, I don't know. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that for Patty? How do you do carnivore when your family isn't on board?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things
They,
that
they, will- they will
one
come
thing that
around
I
to
can
it.
say.
Oh, yeah.
I
Sorry,
was going to
George.
say, Carrie, that I was going to say, Carrie, that you just mentioned community, and it's interesting because the four of us hit on here, along with Lauren, we actually got together as a community back in the autumn of 2023. So we've known each other all now for nearly 2 years, and we've been very supportive. When it comes to family, it's basically I got pushed back to begin with, but they've seen the miracle happen. They've seen me lose 120 pounds, and now they just let me get on with it because they know that I succeeded, and they're very happy with the fact that I'm healthy and well again. They get a bit bored of me talking about carnivore, but hey, we all like to spread the word, don't we, Kerry?
Oh yeah.
I think George makes a valid point because I went solo. My wife was almost the opposite. If I ate meat,
Same.
she ate salad. But when people started seeing the results, I've now got 5 or 6 members of my wider family all on carnivore, and they're reaping the benefits from it. But obviously, unfortunately, as you saw the guest visit from Donald, my bulldog, who just turned out a little while ago, he is my carnivore comrade. And he gets annoyed when I don't leave him some ribeye steak.
That is awesome. That's a good partner in crime to have on carnivore for sure. My
No, it
dogs.
took me years to get my family on board, years and years, really. And I've only really become successful when they really truly understood or just gave up moaning. They really truly understood how seriously I was going to take it, and it does take a while, but I think you either soldier on or you perhaps struggle a little, but either way, the journey, once you've discovered carnivore, you're going to end up doing it. But like George and everyone else has said, get yourself some community, into some good Facebook groups, because it will take a while for the family to catch up. But they will catch up once they see your results. They will. But until then, community, like finding friends like George and Carl and Alex and things like that, are what keep me going because I'm going to be accountable to them. My family are just going to keep doing what they're doing. I have to cook for them all the time. I'm the only carnivore in the house. My eldest son is keto, and the other two want all the variety. And so I've had the last 10.5 years of trying to be carnivore whilst cooking for them. And it's not been fun all the time, but they know how serious I am now. And I think they don't say a word now. They just know that I'm just going to keep going regardless now. And I've got their support, and they don't want me to stop. They're all saying, Mum, get on with it, lock in, do it. Don't, just keep going. So, yeah.
Can I just say as well?
Sorry.
No,
Ironically,
go on,
Kerry, I've just had a message from one of your fellow Americans who's actually coming to the meetup in the UK, Mark Coldwell. He said to me, Kerry is from Wisconsin. Everyone knows they eat cheese because it's mandatory because they're the cheesehead. And he's even sent me a picture of some cheeseheads.
Yes. Yeah, I am in the wrong state for not eating cheese for sure. I'm surrounded by cheeseheads here for sure. But
Well,
I
can I
look at
say
it this way. I've had my fair share leading up to carnivore. The 42 years I was in carnivore, I ate my fair share of cheese. So,
well, to follow on from Sarah, today is 1,115 for me, which is a shock to my system. But all that time, those 3 years, Michelle, my wife, has supported me. She's keto, unintentional. We've been together 40 years in July. Now, if that partner can't support you, maybe you shouldn't be together. I mean, I'm talking about myself. We shouldn't be together. But she saw the transformation in me in terms of weight loss, confidence, no depression. All my physical ailments went. We were going out more. I was positive. She'd ask me to do something. I'd go, yeah. And she'd go, did you just say yes? I'd lost I'd lost my mojo before carnivore, but as the others have said, that those people, that family support you've got, they've got to support you mentally. It doesn't have to be physically, or they don't have to eat what you're doing. But the word I've learned the word stoicism as well, and one of the pillars is courage, and it's having the courage to see something through when you know it's the right thing. When everyone else is saying it's wrong and they're going that way, and you know it's right and you're on your own. This from experience, you've got to go with it. You know, you got to have the guts, if you pardon the pun, to go with it. Because if you're getting 45 pounds lost in 6 months, you are on the right track. And as the others have said, get yourself in a community, read books. I've got that one as well. I've just got that. I'm just starting.
Oh, nice.
Work on your mind, guys. And the brain is connected to the gut and vice versa. And you'll do it. But stuff like this today as well, if you like any of our channels, you know, click onto us and we will help you as well. But I just think it's having the guts to stick with it.
Alex, I was just going to say, I love that answer. That is so good. We recently, we filmed Dr. Ken Berry for the second time, and he was talking about stoicism as well. And one of the tenets of stoicism too that I absolutely love is nobody can make me mad. I'm choosing to allow them to make me mad. And it's kind of in the same way with Patty here. It's like, it's unfortunate if your family isn't on board with you, but you have to be strong enough in your mind to realize you're doing this for yourself and you're making the decisions and you're ultimately in control. I hear a lot of people that kind of use the family as sort of like, well, there's nothing I can do about it because my family's not on board. But ultimately, it's your body, it's your decision. And like Sarah said too, I think your family will come around eventually if you're patient. But ultimately, it's up to you 100%.
Totally.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Here's a question from Kaleidoscope Mind. Do you think artificially sweetened electrolytes is a potential problem on carnivore?
Yes.
I think yeah. Any sweetener and I'm gone. So no, I can't have a sweet taste. You know, a sweet tooth is like a stray cat. Keep feeding it; it's never going to go away. You've got to kill that sweet taste. If that sweet taste isn't gone, and if you are having those sweeteners, you're never going to kill that urge. It's going to keep coming back. And when someone is eating something in front of you that's really sugary sweet, you won't be able to resist it because you haven't killed that sweet tooth. So I will not touch those flavored electrolytes. Those sugar sweet, the sweetened ones with sweetener. No, I just can't. It's just cat out the bag. Definitely, no, couldn't do that. No. Sorry, I don't know if anyone else does it, but I just like no. Sorry, just jumped in there.
I agree with Sarah. The word artificial says it all. So to me, it's about real food now. It's about eating single ingredient real food. So if you have something like that's artificial, that means it's processed, and I try and avoid anything that's potentially processed.
Yeah. One of the original pioneers, like Charles Washington. I don't know whether you've heard of the guy Charles Washington, Kerry. He set up the original carnivore forums back 10 years ago, and he said he'd actually prefer someone ate sugar than artificial sweetener because of it's, you know, sugar free basically means we've taken sugar out and put something even worse in there, and so you're having it thinking, wow, there's no carbs in that, but what is it doing to your body and your sweet tooth? Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm clearly quite passionate about that. I've gone on again about it.
No, I appreciate it. I'm with you on that one. There's a lot of new people that come on my channel, and I've talked to a lot of carnivores where they're a couple months into carnivore and they still have cravings. And in most of those cases, when I talk to them more, it's because they still have artificial sweeteners or the diet soda or things like that. And I 100% believe that you get rid of that 100% and those cravings go away, but you keep that in there and you're going to keep having those cravings. It's going to make it so much more difficult to proceed if you keep those things in there. So I'm with you 100% on that one.
I think your taste buds evolve as well, because now, like when I have a bone broth, I put loads of extra salt in it because I don't like it without the taste of the salt.
Yeah, absolutely. Captain Crunch says, what is the thought on drinking fluids with a meal? I have drank well before a meal and after, but not during.
Mm.
I found on this, I learned this the hard way. I used to just drink a lot of water all of the time, with the meal, before the meal, during the meal, after the meal. And I had Barrett's esophagus, which is from chronic acid reflux, silent acid reflux. And I think a large part of that, I learned on carnivore early. I would eat like some meat and I would drink water and I'd get that acid reflux again. And then I learned quite quickly from a couple of the good doctors, you shouldn't be doing that. So I don't drink water while I'm eating. I'm trying to be very intentional. Just everybody's
Yeah.
different, of course, but for me, I get bad acid reflux. So I try to not
Yeah.
drink during eating. I try to have a nice window. So
I think I connect to Dr. Chafee saying, drink to thirst, eat to hunger. You know, keep it simple. You don't have to have, you know, I don't get bogged down with detailitis anymore. I just think when I'm hungry, I have a steak or whatever. You know, if I feel like a glass of water, like I've got a bottle here now, I'll drink it. But I don't have any sort of set times or, oh, it's mealtime, therefore I'm going to have a drink. We're all different, but that works for me. And I, like you, Kerry, I don't drink during a meal at all, you know.
Well, I think you're right, Alex. It's listening to your body. Your body will tell you
Yeah.
when you want nutrition and rehydration. You don't need a mechanism of 3 meals a day or anything like that to tell you. It's when your body needs something, it will tell you. And I work on that basis totally.
100%.
that has been one of my favorite things on carnivore too, because before carnivore, there was too many signals and too much input that my body didn't know what the heck was going on whenever. Now it's like you need more salt. Like my body just tells me you need to drink some water. You could just hear those signals so much more clearly. And that's probably how it should be for all the humans, but we're kind of overwhelming our systems with too much junk and input and signals and meals and snacks. It's our body is just like, what is going on? Give me a break already. I feel like that's what happened when I went carnivore. My body was like, oh, thank goodness. Finally, just put the proper fuel in the tank for the first time and not all this other junk.
Mm.
All right, here's another question we have from Bev. She used hashtag ribeye. We're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in just a minute. Random drawing if you post a question with hashtag ribeye. So post a couple more questions. Bev says, I've been carnivore I've been carnivore 5-ish years. Have any of you all fell off and jumped back on?
Sarah.
Everyone's looking at Sarah.
No, that's me. Sorry. That's me all the time. 10 and a
Me
half years
too.
of that. Well, 9.5 years of that, and now nearly a year of not doing that because I got bored of doing it. So yes, because I knew straight away it made sense to me that I needed to be carnivore, but I'm a very highly distractible person. So I got distracted and then had to restart more times than I can say. But my health is good, though. There's nothing wrong with me. At nearly 50, I've hardly got any grey hairs. I've got nothing wrong with me. No medications of any kind. So I still feel like I'm winning. But yes, that's me. I'm the one that's had to keep restarting. But 300 days now of not restarting, and I'm very happy. So,
Yeah,
and I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
One thing I will say is that I haven't fallen off and come back on again, but I went through a long period of transition. It took me 18 months from being diagnosed with diabetes before actually going full carnivore. And even then I've made transitions since. I've gone much more lion now, and I'm actually mostly raw lion now. I mostly eat raw steak, which I think Dr. Kiltz is a great fan of. And I found that basically my own gut health has improved since I've gone raw. I think my general health has improved since I've gone raw. I don't eat raw at the weekends because my wife likes to cook. She's a very good cook, and so we have roast at the weekend. But Monday to Friday, when I'm at work, I will eat 2 10-ounce lamb steaks raw every day. I think that the omega-3 content of lamb actually puts it better than beef. And I can highly recommend it. I blame Carl because it was him that taught me into doing it. Because he interviewed Jacob McAteer, the 100% raw carnivore, and said, "Come on, George, are we going to give it a go?" I said, "No, Carl," and I said, "I'm fine." But then when Carl decided to give it a go, I came out in sympathy with him, and I'm very glad that I did because it's been nearly a year now, I think, Carl. June of last year.
Now, yeah.
And I'm now full blown well, nearly full-blown raw carnivore. So yeah, I transitioned from basically very, very dirty low carb through to raw lion, basically. So yeah, it's been I haven't fallen off and come back on again, but I've changed the way I eat quite a lot over the course of those 3 years.
Well,
Yeah.
I confess that my football team, or you call soccer over there, which is wrong, totally. But my football team got promoted to the Premiership after 20 years absent. So unfortunately, that weekend I went very off carnivore, and it took me about a week and a half to stop having the feeling of bloating and all sorts. But it's a once in a chance. Unfortunately, we got relegated now, so we're going back down again. But it was a fun year.
Yeah.
No.
Can I say as well, to help Bev, I've been drinking alcohol for 50 years. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear I'm not an alcoholic, but this has helped me so much in terms of, it's probably one of the only toxins I've actually, intake at the moment. And every time I do, I get a little stall and I go, the reason I'm not feeling optimum today is because of that. Staying with ice cream, I have Dr. Kilter's ice cream. It's the best one out there, but it's still got that dopamine attraction. And Kerry's got a switch. I've got a dial. I'm pretty tolerant of things, but I'm much older than Kerry. And I'm thinking to myself, as I start going into my 70s and my 80s, do I still want to be regretting things? Do I still want to be thinking, I shouldn't have done that? And the answer is no. But with Bev, I think 5 years is a long time to be doing a carnivore. Well, it's a good time to be doing a carnivore. She must know now what her triggers are, or what her little sort of naughty little, dabbles are. And she has to remember, this is not me preaching, but what is the why, or what is the series of whys? And that's what I always go back to. If I actually do indulge at all, it's very, very limited. But the next day I always go to Michelle, I go, I shouldn't have done that, but I was in a social occasion, or I allowed my, my niceness to get in the way, instead of just being as, stoic as possible. Mm-hmm. But we're all individual, we're all humans, you know what I mean? We make mistakes, but it's getting back on that horse and probably you're saying to yourself, I made the mistake there, but it's my life, it's my body. I won't do it again until the next time. But that's the great thing about carnivore. It does give you a good thermometer, it's a good measurement of what you're doing. But she's obviously doing well if she's been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just on the subject of alcohol, can I say that basically I've when I started low carb and then went on to carnivore, I was continuing to be a heavy drinker. I've been a heavy drinker all my life, and I mean a heavy drinker. But I achieved incredible results through the diabetes and everything else. And in my last review of my blood last year, I was expecting, no, crikey, how much alcohol do you drink? And she skipped over it. And I said, why aren't you asking about alcohol? She said, well, you obviously don't drink because you've got a perfect liver function test. Now, that tells me that basically a good, strong carnivore diet protects the liver no matter what you chuck at it. I'm very, very happy to say that today is day 65 since I gave up alcohol. So I'm nearly 10 weeks of actually giving up alcohol, and I won't be going back for financial reasons, for my mood reasons, and also the night sweats have gone as well. So I just get night sweats when I've been drinking alcohol. I have replaced it with the zero alcohol beer, so it kind of tricks my mind into thinking that I am in the social situation. But yeah, I'm very happy to have given up alcohol now, and again, I use that word again. I won't be going back because my life is much better without alcohol. So, yeah, but just to point out the fact that I did a 3-year N=1, a 3-year experiment with alcohol, and the results were surprising because it wasn't too deleterious. So, I would highly recommend that people don't drink alcohol, but don't think that you can't do carnivore if you do drink alcohol, because you can, and the carnivore diet does protect the liver from alcohol, and obviously we've removed fructose anyway. So yeah, it's just a word on alcohol.
Yeah.
Two things I'll add to that is I've always said in a lot of my posts, there's no carnivore police. So you're not going to get dragged out of your house if you broke the rules, but it's important. And I think Larry, the carnivore soldier, used to say, if you have the right why and you know your why you're doing this, that will get you back on straight away.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Hey, George mentioned Dr. Kiltz and Alex mentioned Dr. Kiltz ice cream. Have any of you guys here seen baby Dr. Kiltz yet?
Yeah,
Ooh, no.
superb.
I gotta
Superb, yeah.
share. I'm gonna share real quick. This is just 10 seconds. This just cracks me up. It puts a big smile on my face. Here's 12 seconds of baby Dr. Kiltz for
Yeah.
everyone to enjoy.
It's
But I
great,
tell you,
it's great.
when I went carnivore nearly 15 years ago, and I'm going to be 70 next year, and I've never felt better. All the drugs, doctors, and dissections gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's a
Absolutely
classic. Just
brilliant.
on the subject of Dr. Kills, can I say that I was on his 6 a.m. live this morning in the chat, and I told him about the Great British Meetup on August the 2nd, and he hadn't heard of it, and he was most offended that he hadn't actually been invited. But Dr. Nelson did point out to him that they do have another engagement on August the 2nd, but Dr. Kiltz was, yeah, why haven't I been invited? But yeah, but he did say that if he had the chance to, send a live stream or something on the day, then he would do. So, as you know, Kerry, Dr. Kiltz is a great fan of the meetup concept, and he is aware of us now. And I did send a follow-up email to Alia, giving her all the details afterwards. So hopefully, I might even go on with Dr. Kiltz in the future, because obviously I've got the type 2 diabetes story and the weight loss story and the beating alcohol story. So I might have I might even volunteer to go on with him myself. And of course, I eat raw, and he's a great believer in eating raw as well. So I guess I would be a candidate.
You should go on with him, George, for sure. Shoot Ollie an email. I was just talking to her before this. He's been doing a lot of interviews. He would love to talk to you. Yeah, especially that you're doing raw, for sure. Yeah, he's great. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He loves these meetups too. I can't believe how many of the meetups he's come out to. He's been such a great supporter. So passionate and fired up about this, for sure. All right.
When he was talking at your London event, he had the hairs on the back of my neck going up. He was amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible. We just did one in Canada, and he flew out to it. A big meetup out there too. And just he shared his own personal story, but in the beginning I was like, Dr. Kiltz, it'd be great if you could talk for 15 minutes. I'm like, but we're not going to know the topic until we get there, because it was kind of a mixed crowd, partial carnivores, some people that just came in from the community that maybe didn't know about carnivore or keto. So we just kind of like polled the audience. How many carnivores, how many keto, how many have no idea? And he just tailored this speech to the crowd and just went for 15 minutes. And it was like a master class. It was so good. Just completely. He's like, you don't really have to prepare when you're just telling the truth. You don't have to make notes or edit yourself. And he's just able to riff that way. So yeah, he's incredible. Baby Dr. Kiltz is a little bit better, but he's pretty good. Pretty good himself. Angela is asking, where can we get tickets for the meetup?
Over to Carl.
Right. Well, if they go to either the Primal Lifestyle, either YouTube or Facebook page, there's links to the online ticket purchase there, and I think you're going to put it in the bottom of your description as well, aren't you?
I have already. Yep. So if anyone wants to just click on the description, there's a link for the Eventbrite there as well. I also just wanted to post this to remind people we're here chatting about the Great British Meetup is coming up August 2nd. It's a Saturday. Bunch of food, great speakers. So if you're in the UK area and you want to join, you don't want to miss it. Check out the link in the description below. You can get more info for that.
Yeah, Kerry, can I just say something about the caterer himself? Because he's a professional caterer. However, he's a friend of mine of 30 plus years. I've known him on the rugby pitch and also through the horse racing game as well now. Ashley is a very, very good friend of mine. And he is an absolute carnivore enthusiast. He knows about carnivore. He's watched the miracle of me unfold. About 4 years ago, we were shuffling around together, barely able to walk, feeling very old. He watched the miracle unfold for me. He is now very close to carnivore himself and feeling a lot better for it. So he's not this guy is not just somebody who's trying to sell us something. He's somebody who is part of our community. He's a friend of mine, very good friend of mine. He's almost like the 6th committee member, because I consult him quite a lot about the how we advertise and that sort of thing. It was him that recommended the location, because I did originally ask if we could use his farm, but he said no, we've got a much better place just down the road now. I'm actually meeting him there next Friday night. He's doing a hog roast there. So I shall be, he's invited me along to take some of the flyers that Carl has designed. So we're not only aiming for the already established carnivore community, but we're looking to sell it locally to the local meat-based people, because basically Ashley will be selling his hog roast there that night. So basically anybody who comes to him as a customer is going to be a potential carnivore, in my view, at which point they will find me with my Healing Humanity t-shirt on, and they will get the full Healing Humanity lecture, and they will be invited to the Great British Meetup in their own right. So yeah, don't panic about the catering, folks, because Ashley is one of us.
And just to say, the whole organisation is a non-profit, so any additional funds we make from ticket sales, we're donating to Healing Humanity Project, Kerry. So if you buy a ticket, you're helping to contribute towards Healing Humanity.
And on the note of fundraising as well, can I just say that we are planning to have a raffle. And just last night, the lovely Sarah did announce that she was actually going to donate 4 carnivore t-shirts that she has in the back of her cupboard, including 2 Healing Humanity t-shirts. So yeah, it's we will be doing that. Lauren has some very good ideas about maybe getting a meat box, for example, or maybe getting some gift tickets from butchers. So yeah, there's going to be a raffle as well, and that the raffle will purely be for the to help Healing Humanity. So yeah, it's going to be a good fundraiser. It's going to be great fun. I have a mantra, which is carnivore is fun, and I think that day will prove it. Because one thing we'll say, yeah, we have Richard and Stephen as speakers. However, there will be some warm-up speakers there. And Carl will be the MC, Master of Ceremonies. And I think we've got a few of the warm-up speakers here, because I know that we will have decent stories to tell. So we will be the lead-in to the professionals, if you like. So that will be a couple of hours, or maybe we're planning to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. Gates open at 9. And so the speeches will start at 10, and we'll probably lead into a lunchtime speech from Richard and Stephen, and then we'll go straight on to Ashley's hog roast, and then in the evening, while looking at getting some music sorted out, probably a disco, and we'll have a nice sort of dance and a good social in the evening. So it's going to be a long day. We actually do have the venue from 9 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. So I'm not sure who will still be standing at 11 o'clock. Not me.
I think Lauren will still be partying, if I know Lauren.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got to quote Lauren. When I saw her, I went for lunch with her fairly recently, because actually, Kerry, Lauren and myself live very close to each other, and she invited me for lunch, and she did tell me that she intends to, and I quote, dance the night away at the meetup. So,
Nice.
So yeah, it should be fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys, your support for the documentary, and the proceeds going towards the documentary as well. So thank you so much for that. We're on the home stretch with the documentary, just so people know. We're filming Dr. Baker next month, and we got about 2 more interviews, and we're wrapping up the main documentary, and we hope to have it out early next year. And I know a lot of people they want it out sooner, but it's taken a while. There's several people we filmed over the course of a year. It's going to be worth the wait, and we've also filmed quite a bit for the series as well. We're going to have several episodes on cancer, several episodes on depression, episode on fertility. So if you have a loved one going through any of those issues, we'll have a dedicated episode for each of those. Also got to thank Rich LeBoy. He gifted 20 Homestead How memberships. Thank you so much, Rich. Every penny we get from the memberships goes towards our documentary. We do a members-only live stream every Thursday at 3 p.m. also. This has been great. So everyone that's joined, thank you so much for all your questions. Great British Meetup. There's a link in the description below. I got to do the giveaway for the shirt. I actually announced that I was giving away a shirt on the last live stream, and then I ended it without giving it away. I completely forgot. Apologies for that. It wasn't intentional. Here we go. We're going to do a random drawing. Healing Humanity t-shirt goes to Musdas Sian. Congratulations. I butchered that. I butchered that.
I see Bill Knott just joined us.
Oh, Bill Knott just joined us. Nice. Hey, you just won a Healing Humanity t-shirt. Thank you so much. You can claim the shirt by going here. Let me pull this up here real quick. No, not that one. That one. HealingHumanity.movie/giveaway. There's a little form there you can fill out, and we will send you the shirt. Congratulations. Welcome, Bill Knott, too. Bill Knott, we got to get you out to the UK meetup. Bill is coming to a meetup in Florida, the Hack Your Health one in November. So I know we're at the end of the hour here. We got to kind of wrap things up. You guys want to mention or shout out anything else before we wrap up? Carl, George, Alex, or Sarah?
Yes, there is camping at the venue. It's fairly rough camping. There's no shower block, but there are toilets, and I think it's £10 a night to pitch a tent there. So that will be convenient for people who wish to come from a long way away. And of course, we are very near the town of Glastonbury, which is a massive tourist town. So there is good local accommodation and other campsites, more upmarket campsites locally as well. If anybody wants any advice on that sort of thing, then feel free to ask me, because I am the local knowledge. So accommodation isn't really a problem for the meetup.
I'd just like to say thank you for anyone's following. Please follow my YouTube. I'm trying to build it now. I'm going to publish a book soon. So and the proceeds are all going towards me doing a PhD on the subject. So yeah, anyone can give me support, much appreciated.
And go Bill. Go Bill.
Yeah, go Bill.
Absolutely.
Go Bill.
And Daisy, of course. Don't forget Daisy.
the real
Daisy.
star of the show is Daisy, for sure. Good stuff. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm excited. Great British Meetup, Saturday, August 2nd. Link in the description below. You got to get a ticket, though. Click on the link and secure your ticket. And if you can't make it, share it on Facebook. Get the word out. Let everyone know there's a big meetup going up, because every single time we do one of these, it ends, and then there's like 30 or 40 people that say, why didn't anybody tell me about this? I would have went. I live right down the street. It happens every single time. So help get the word out, spread the news. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, George. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Sarah, for joining today. And thank you guys for all your good questions. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah,
Bye, everyone.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.